Rob Van Dam! Rob Van Dam! Rob Van Dam! I'm Rob Van Dam. The whole show.
Hey, what's up? It's Monday night. It's RVDTV.com. And guess what? Guess who is back? It's two of them. It's two of them. Boom!
The parents
RVD.
Got us both.
Oh, RVD and KT. RV Dad and KT Mom.
Yeah.
What's happening?
My hat,
Congratulations, guys.
my motherhood hat on.
Oh, let me see. Hold on, I'll pop it up. Boom! Look at that. Ain't no hood like motherhood.
Lots of people been asking about you, baby. Just came back from awesome signing in Tampa at the mall in Brandon. Don't know what the name of the collectible store is actually, but I think everyone knows it by the Brandon Mall guys anyway. But Katie wasn't able to go. She's not been on the road. In fact, she wasn't even home for weeks. Like three of them, at least three of them to be exact. So she's home, but the babies aren't home yet, and that's because they came early, and they got to still develop, and that's normal for preemie babies. Although I myself was a preemie baby, I came a whole month early, and my mom says that she didn't have to wait me at the hospital because I was like 7 pounds and something, and I think that's kind of normal. And our babies got to pass the weight test and a lot of the other stuff they have passed. Katie's up there all the time, and she can tell you about some of that, huh, baby?
Yeah. Okay, so what had happened was in the beginning of December, I was sick, and I thought it was just like the flu. But then my doctor said to go to the hospital. And then when we went, they kept me there because my blood pressure was really, really high. Like it was like borderline, like having a stroke. And so they kept me there, and I was admitted and had to live at the hospital for 3 weeks before the babies got here. And then I was there for like 4 more days after the babies got here. Yeah, and like you said, they're still there at the NICU because they're little. They're like one's 3 pounds and one's 4 pounds, so they have to be big enough to like ride in a car seat and stuff to go home. But I go visit them every day, and they're gaining weight now, and they're doing really good.
Boom, heard it. And she's doing amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like she hardly, I don't think I heard her really complain about pain hardly at all. Way less than I do during the whole thing. And we had a good positive experience all the way through, even when she had a cannonball-sized hole in her stomach, and people were inside of her stomach, like their arms were in there deep, like pulling on shit and like pounding on her ribs, and it was really rough. Saba had some bruising when she first came out. Fortunately that went away. But some of the first few pictures I had was like, man, our poor baby. Like, I don't know, I want to share these pictures. It was just she looked, really rough, and all the wires and everything all over them and stuff. But she was amazing. And then boom, afterwards she just dropped all her weight and got like back to what she weighed before all of this craziness even happened. And her sickness made her swell up and stuff, but being pregnant tends to add a lot of weight to you too.
So, well, let me just ask you guys outright too. How did it feel, like just that whole, Katie, for you, obviously, when that moment happened, and then Rob, you were talking about you didn't know how you were going to feel and how like your emotions were going to be or anything like that. How was that for you guys?
The moment of the actual C-section.
The moment, yeah, when you got to see the babies for the first time and everything.
Well, it was scary. It was great. It was really like the C-section to me like didn't hurt at all, and I was really just high off the moment of excitement. But then we had a big scare, with Saba when she came out. And so, yeah, that part was scary. But I feel like I was just so focused on the babies and the excitement of them that's why I didn't notice like any pain or like the grossness of what was going through with my body.
And the epidural.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Rob, how about for you? Yeah.
oh my God, dude, it was weird because it was so real that I think it tricked my brain into it feeling like it wasn't real. I'm watching it happen. Like, okay, I've seen this on TV and movies. There's a fucking human being that just that just came out of you, and it's like, and Karma's just trying to make a noise, trying to cry, and I'm like, is she breathing? You know, they're like, no, she's okay, she's normal. And they're like, bam, bam, they're like hitting her like with a sponge or something, trying to clean them off really rough right away, and they like hand them off. But what's really cool is as soon as they come out, and Katie can't see because there's a blanket of a wall under her chin, see, while she's laying on her back, so she can't see, and I'm talking to her, trying to describe what's going on, and it was just amazing. They pulled, but when they do, they all say "Happy Birthday!" Everybody. So that's a really nice way to bring a baby into the world. And then of course, Katie knew it was real when she heard that because she couldn't feel probably the baby coming out, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's just like it looks like like a Hollywood version of it." And it was so crazy that it didn't. I don't know. I wouldn't use the words magical like a lot. It was a miracle, but at the same time, it was almost like oh my God, this is like if I ever expected what it would look like, it would be like this. But holy shit, they're pulling. I mean, she with a big hole in her stomach, and they pull the baby out, and it's got all these cords like looks like tentacles coming out. They're cutting stuff, and I'm looking at this, and then Katie's just looking at me like, oh, what is, what's happening? And it reminded me of a sci-fi movie when like someone's dead and they don't realize they're dead because they just pulled them out of the ocean. They don't realize their lower half got eaten by piranha, and they're like, why are you staring at me like that? Quit looking at me like that. I'm fine. And they don't know they're dead. It's like, that's the best way I can describe it. And then it took maybe like 3 minutes or close to it to pull Saba out. Saba was in there a little deeper and tangled up. So all of the people, there was maybe 4, maybe 5 people around. They were being extra rough, trying to fight to get Saba out and struggling. And I was like amazed that she's she's like overwhelmed, but not from the pain, just everything's going on, and she's happy, and she's crying like, oh my God, this is great. And then pretty soon here, happy birthday. And then Saba made a noise. She did and it made everything real. Right?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I was bawling when I first heard that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Man.
the little scare was that Saba likes to stick her tongue out. And they wanted to test for seizures. They sent her off to another hospital. They were separated for
4 days.
Really?
Yeah, it was different ends of town, and a little scary, but all the tests came back good. She just likes to stick her tongue out, and she did that in the womb. We have pictures of the ultrasound with her sticking her tongue out. So
yeah. And then 4 days later was when I finally got to meet Saba. He got to see her after, but then they like took her in a ambulance to the other hospital, and so I didn't get to meet her till my birthday.
Really?
And my birthday was the day that we all they even got to meet each other, and we got to hold them together. So that was just the best present in the whole world. That was really special.
Man, so they were born day after Christmas, right?
Yeah.
And then your birthday was New Year's Eve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, she got back to the hospital December 30th, but she had to be in isolation. And then she got to come out and meet her family on my birthday.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you feel meeting them for the first time and everything? How was that?
Magical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stared at them, and I still just stare at them in awe, like in shock. I cannot believe I made this. And they're so cute and so perfect. And everyone says they're Rob's clones.
Yeah.
Poor kids.
Yeah.
I hope they have her eyesight though, because
yeah.
mine's not too good. Never has been. But also, as Katie pointed out, in the tradition of Sabu, who Saba was named after, within her first couple hours of being around, she already took her first ambulance ride, scared the shit out of everybody by going to the hospital and then coming out of it fine.
How about that? Yep.
Yeah. I was like, that's true Sabu fashion to start off in chaos.
That's it. Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, he's doing like it's stretching. I'm like,
Who else has gotten to visit the babies? Anybody else besides you guys, or?
So we had family in town. My mom and dad and stepmom, stepdad, my little brother, and then cheerleader Melissa. She's our friend. She's a wrestler too, but she's our friend, and she goes up there and visits a lot. And she was really there for me a lot when I had my hospital stay, because it kind of got boring and lonely sometimes. But her and Rob would, like, she would have day shift and Rob would have night shift, and coming and spending time with me. And I had a Christmas tree in my hospital room, and I had like drapes hanging and like light fixtures. So all the nurses were like, "Wow, I like what you did with the place. Like, you really made it your own."
yes, yeah. She had a little apartment there.
That's my dad.
You decorated it all.
She had a generator so she could plug in anything she wanted, and had, you know, the Christmas tree and all lit up, and
My own refrigerator.
stars all over the ceiling. Like,
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was still Christmas, even though I had to be in the hospital. And the food was really good. I liked the hospital food, so I had a good experience. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty neat though. You got to do that. Actually, like you'll look back on that and be like, man, what a kind of really neat time, even though you're in the hospital room for that long, but you just made it your own kind of thing. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Too. You know, man, that's great though. Like I was so happy for you guys. I remember that day after Christmas, like trying to keep tabs, and then I saw Rob made a post on X about like that they got out safe and everything, and
Karma have left the womb.
Yep.
Like that.
yeah, it took me a while. Like, I was sitting there at the hospital trying to figure out the way to word it to tell everybody. And I want to tell them everything's okay, but more importantly, you know, that boom, we passed the point. They're out. It's happened. And that's what I was thinking. And my first I wrote, Saba and Karma have breached the flesh wall of. And I was like, no, backspace. And I was like, oh,
don't do that one.
And I ended up coming up with whatever she just said.
It took me like a while to even post something, because I don't know, like I'm just in awe and so obsessed. Like there's no words to even wrap around the feeling of love that I feel for them.
Yeah.
But and then we're gonna post more like as they get out of the hospital.
Yeah. No, I think it's kind of cool. You guys are just taking your time with it for the most part, and just like not, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
After I post them, I'll be posting them hourly. It'll be a big jump, but until then, I'm like just keeping it for like family and us for just now. Yeah,
You're giving it the wrestling build where it's like your tees and showing up. Ooh, who's showing up? We got Saba and Karma. Good stuff. No, I'm so happy for you guys. Congratulations. And yeah, you guys are gonna be great parents. It's gonna be awesome. You guys are
She's already the best mom. Like, she just thinks about the babies 24 hours, and she has to wake up every 3 hours to pump milk, and that's so hot. And I'm just joking. That's just what a lot of people are thinking. Like, oh, we don't want to hear about that, man. But hey, that's the show for them. Fuck those people.
And a lot of people have kids.
This shit's real. Yeah, a lot more people have kids than you realize.
Yeah.
about it.
It's like a natural thing in society. I don't know. It's like everyone can relate. There are a hell of a lot more twins too. But anyway, she don't sleep, you know, and like she's always up checking the clock to see if it's time yet. And she said I was saying, man, that's really shitty sleep. And she said, but it's preparing her for when the babies come home and keep us/her up all night.
Yeah.
How
And
high
it's
the
a
sleep
visit
wise?
daily too
Yeah.
with them. So I go to the hospital and I feed them. I bring them the milk from home and then I feed them in person and
Yeah.
I'll just snuggle them for hours and stare at them.
I bet it's easy to do though. I bet it's real easy to do.
Yeah. And then it's like they change every day.
Yeah. Yeah, right?
Even though they haven't really gained a lot of weight. It's like they still are just looking like more like babies and less like little preemies.
You're right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's neat too is that I'm not familiar with, but I like my brother Marcus, he's had, 2 girls and stuff like that, but he talks about how quickly they do change and like you say, like they look like Rob right now, but in some time they could look more like you too. It's just a fascinating kind of process for it all.
Yeah. Right now it's Saba who's his twin.
Yeah.
Like, no way that head shape came from me.
Now, are they identical twins or are they just twins?
They're fraternal.
They're fraternal? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Man,
Yeah.
great.
And Saba's a pound bigger. So I was like wondering, like, what if I get him confused? But that.
No, you'll figure it out easy.
Yeah. And she has so much hair. It looks like she's wearing a wig.
It's crazy. Some babies do come out with like a lot of hair and it's nuts.
Yeah. Everyone told me that the whole pregnancy too, because I had the worst heartburn. Like that was my number one side effect to the pregnancy was heartburn. So everyone said babies are going to have a lot of hair. And then they did.
Wow. Man, that's so nuts that happens like that. How about that?
Yeah.
We're getting some live congratulations too. Maddie, wish you guys congratulations. Jem the Dawn, he says, good to have you two back. Happy for you all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. And then there's a lot of new people chiming in too, saying, congratulations, guys. So happy for you all. Congrats on the great news.
Thank you. Thank you, y'all.
Congratulations, guys. Yeah, so everybody's very happy. Jem the Dawn also had Saba and Karma, future goats.
They added a page for extra swag.
We have a long list of people that we owe thank yous to. We're waiting. She was waiting. She's a smarter one. She's the one with the plan. But wanted to have wait till the babies came out and either have pictures of them or something about the announcement. And so anyway, we got so many gifts and still getting gifts, and just we're really thankful, and don't think we're not if you haven't heard from us.
Yeah, for sure. It's a busy time for you guys, no doubt.
Yeah, I called a baby bubble. Like he's like telling me about current events going on in the world, and I was like, I don't know about anything. Like I feel just so wrapped up in them, like even too wrapped up to even remember like to send photos to family members. That's another reason like I haven't been on social media, because I'm just in like their world right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where you want to be too. That's like
my baby bubble.
That's it. Rob, how excited are you now that it's kind of setting in, you're like a dad and all that kind of aspect coming into play?
It's really cool. I don't know the girls as much as Katie. Like she already knew them when they were inside of her in a special kind of way that I couldn't relate to. So it's cool watching them develop. Like because at first they just looked like the most newborn babies ever, like little fake babies you would use in movies to drop them or whatever. They look like that, and then pretty soon I could see the face, little tiny face, like starting to develop and see like different emotions, with the eyebrows and the mouth, and it's really cute watching it progress. I look forward to when they're even more interactive, even though everybody says don't rush it because it happens really fast, but I'm sure that just even more so when they can be sweet and show us how much they love us like our dogs and everything, then we'll just have a big house of love. Just the doggies and the babies and us and our Colombian nanny.
So I feel like that too. Like it'll be fun to see them grow up, but then they say don't wish that because they grow up so fast. But we need them to grow up to come home. It's like that.
Right?
Them there is like they're so too little to even fit in a car seat. It's like Karma's face is like this long, like this big.
That's crazy.
It's like Lovey's face almost like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Like
We used to say the same thing about the dogs all the time. They'll smile their faces. Yeah.
Now, is Karma? Does she weigh more, or is it Saba? Which one?
The smaller one, yeah, she weighs 3 pounds and Saba weighs 4 pounds.
4 pounds. Okay.
Yeah.
How excited were your parents? Your guys' parents?
Oh, so excited. My mom was like, I feel like they're my babies. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, she feels like she's reliving the days of her giving birth. So she's been really helpful. And since I had to go to the hospital, they came over and like got the house. I had to go like before, I was even planning on being admitted. I thought I was going to be sent home that day.
It was like she got kidnapped. Like,
Yeah.
Get the house ready. Get the house ready. I'll see you in a month. I'm going to bring the babies home.
Yeah, because we didn't know they were going to have to stay at the hospital. We didn't know how big they were going to be. And so my mom came and organized like all the baby stuff and was really, really helpful and going like hanging everything up and putting together like the bottles and the wipes and everything because we thought maybe they were going to come home with me. But yeah, they're so excited. And I give them updates every day, and they're going to come back when the babies come home.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great.
How's your mom feel?
Yeah. How's your mom feel, Rob?
Oh, she's so happy and excited. She's very, and she says my dad would be so proud, which of course he would, because he always wanted me to have kids. And she's talking about coming out, traveling out here to see the babies, which is a really big deal because, my mom she's never liked flying. And I don't think I don't know how long it's been, 20, 30.
Oh,
When's the
wow.
last trip? I mean, she doesn't fly. You know what I mean? She's 85. Traveling is really stressful. I wish I could just send her an airplane to pick her up, but I didn't make John Cena money.
You didn't make that John Cena money go.
She understands that. But it'll be cool to have her out here, and she really wants to meet the babies, and she's excited. We give her updates. Katie takes pictures like pretty much every night and stuff, and then sends them to everybody.
Oh man, that's great.
Everyone in her circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm so happy for you guys. What a great time. What a great time for you. Both. Like that.
Well,
Yeah.
they'll be on the pod before y'all know it.
Yeah, right? I'll have to make their names underneath too.
Oh, that'll be so fun. Like their first episode when we bring them on here.
Oh man, that'll be great. It'll be great.
I know. I'm hoping to be able to bring them to WrestleMania events if their doctor says it's okay for their immune system.
Yeah.
WrestleMania is here in Vegas. I was like, that'd be fun to our friends and fans to get to see them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it'll be a really great time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, how nice is it too that WrestleMania will be in Vegas again? Like
so great because it's hard for me to travel right now. So I probably 100% want to be going if it wasn't in Vegas. So for it to be here is awesome.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. I think just Vegas itself is just made for kind of WrestleMania and those kind of events too. So
yeah, and we'll have a babysitter so we can have parents' night out and go to Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's right. Heck yeah. Be darn good times. I know I'm excited for it, but I'm so happy for you guys. Congratulations, and it'll be neat to get the updates and see some pictures eventually and stuff too. So
yeah, it's so cool.
And yeah.
Yeah.
So
does anybody have good questions about the babies?
Yeah, and the reason is because I also want to talk about something outside of Katie's baby bubble.
We're gonna have a guest on here in a little bit. And, It'll
I
be
still have like 20 minutes
Yeah, but
until I get kicked off.
I know, but do you want to be on with him for a few minutes or no? Because I told him
time's he
7.
going? Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
You want me to ask him if he can do like more
Like 10 minutes.
I don't know if it's from him or not.
10 minutes, and then I
Okay.
can talk more about the babies.
Sure.
What's one thing you will teach the kids that you wish someone taught you at a very young age?
Great question.
Well, something that I wish someone taught me. I don't know, because something just compared to like other kids. I'm excited to teach them hygiene, like washing their hands and taking it baths with soap. Like a lot of kids, a lot of people a lot of adults too, just don't understand hygiene. So I feel like that's something I really want to teach them.
Yeah, you'll be good at that, and they're going to be really sweet because you're the sweetest person I know.
Thank you.
She's like really happy for everybody's success, even people she doesn't know, and she always wants everybody to win, 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 and that's something that's awesome. Something that I will teach the kids is that it's not that important to fit in with other people's values because your values are more important, and we're going to teach them what we believe are the best values for them. And so people with other values telling them they're not good enough, I think that's part of growing up. It's part of being bullied or being manipulated. If you really think about it, it's part of something. And when you're younger, you don't know any better. If everyone at school makes fun of you, then, who knows? You could hate yourself or you could, I'm not cool or whatever. And, I'm going to give them a better understanding of everyone's got their opinion. That's all it is. And they're going to value my opinion because they're going to have a great daddy relationship, daddy, daughter, mommy relationship.
Yeah.
What'll be great too is they'll be in early on the RVDology, and on top of that, that's it. And like the neat thing is too is like a lot of people don't like kids. They think about what other kids think about them and stuff like that. And if you
I hated that part, I still resent that. That's how I got shaped into the protester of conformity that I am, was through experiences like that. I still remember in 3rd grade, parachute pants were in at this time. And my mom bought this, I think it was a black pair of parachute pants with a brown shirt. And I wore it to school, and I can't remember what kid it was, like it matters, but they were, maybe it was a few of them, but they were like, that doesn't go together. Like brown and black doesn't go. And anyway, I went home and my mom was like, yes, it does, and I wore it again. And they're like, I told you that doesn't go together. Why are you wearing that?
So mean.
Yeah, I know. Like that's how kids, that's how I remember kids being and going through childhood is like kids trying to manipulate other people with their own values. And that was like the whole social thing, like all through school, it seems like, you know what I mean? Hang out with the cool kids and, if they smoke cigarettes in the bathroom, I guess that's the cool thing to do. So I'm going to do it too. And, if they jumped off a bridge, would you jump? Well, my values, I don't know my values, so I'm just using their values. Stop doing that. You got your own values. So anyway,
our kids won't be the bulliers, and they won't be the people influenced by the bulliers.
My mom was like, why do they sell it as a set then? And, and that's just, like you got to like the right music or I always talk about this, it's so stupid. It's even like, you think she's good looking? Ooh, Rob thinks Erica is good looking. Dude, you're so stupid. No way. You're wrong. How can you be wrong about that if someone's good looking to you? But that's how stupid kids are. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't reprogram themselves as adults, and that's a problem that I talk about a lot too. That's what RVDology is about, is like, okay, look at how you used to see things. Stop doing that. You're an adult, like look at where you shouldn't do that anymore. You should be able to have enough judgment to realize you're being a fucking kid.
That's it, right?
Some other people want to know when they'll learn pro wrestling or when you'll teach the children martial arts when they're of age, where you train them pro wrestling. I think martial arts would be a great place for them to start, you know. And yeah, I think that would be really good for kids because they might need to wait till they're a little bigger to do pro wrestling so they don't like, because the younger you are, the harder like concussions are for you. And bumping and stuff seems like, I don't know, that would be hard on kids' bodies. So I think like martial arts would be a good place to start.
Absolutely. Like just the basic foundation stuff.
Yeah.
You know, have them have that core kind of foundation if that's something that they want to do and get into, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
At least we can introduce it to them and then they can try other things and see what they're into. And hopefully it's into wrestling.
Yeah, right? That would be nice. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I know. It's neat to kind of see my niece, she's kind of getting into it a little bit. And like she's
I love that fan meet and greets when families come up and it's something that families all share together the interest of.
Yeah. It's pretty
awesome that they can all share that. And then of course it'd be awesome because it's something like that they could be second generation in.
Right? Yeah. Keep
the family legacy.
That legacy, baby. That's how it's happening.
Yeah.
Maddie, he says, how did it work out for the lady who had a C-section? She gave birth to a bouncing baby buoy.
Nice.
Maddie, where do you find this stuff, Maddie? Let me see. I think he had another one.
My agent that drives me crazy from Canada. He's always sending me what he thinks are really funny jokes. And I'm always like, dude, whenever you want to send me something you think that I'm going to appreciate, stop. Don't send it.
Just don't do it.
It's always like the stupidest stuff. And so what he does now, he sends me something and then he'll say, this is your kind of humor. Like that's supposed to make it any better. Like, oh, it is? Oh, okay.
I'm gonna laugh at it.
Oh, bro, stop, please.
He must not watch the show.
I guess. I don't know. Stop it, bro. It's not funny. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't want to get it.
He's got to take notes from Maddie here.
Yeah, Maddie's fun.
Mom, why is there a strange baby in the crib? Dad, you told me to change the baby.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh, Frankie, so this is an off-topic question, but he was curious. Is there an ETA on posting a Dango match? Did you try a 20-foot corner-to-corner Van Terminator in the ECW? Oh, there's 3 questions. Is there an ETA on the posting of a Dango match, Rob?
Nope. I have some for sure on VHS. I had a project of getting all the VHS shit transferred over to digital, but it didn't go very far. And and there's so much stuff on there, and it means so much. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of it's really sentimental, but then it's gonna rot in the closet anyway. But I just don't want to rip because I would never know. I got, I don't know, maybe 8 comic book boxes full of VHS tape stuff, you know, like with my whole career. And so like it's just sitting there rotting, but at the same time, I don't want to take a chance of it getting ripped from the tape being pulled in a machine or something. But but yeah, that's a good idea though. I'll look into that, and at least if I got to get that transferred, that would be cool. No, I don't think I tried a corner to corner Van Terminator. What was the other one?
That was it. Did you try a 22-foot corner to corner Van Terminator in the ECW ring? And he said the WWE is 20 feet, 20 side to side. You did the Van Terminator though in ECW.
No, he said, okay, so that was an 18-foot ring, and that's where I originated the move. And then in WWE, now it's a 20-foot ring. Also, it's real rope instead of steel cable. And so you got those factors to put up with. So it's a little bit further than it was before, and you feel it when you're doing it. Have I done corner to corner in the ECW ring, which would only be 2 feet more, he's saying, than doing it in the WWE ring, which I've done many times. So Alberto Del Rio, Paul Heyman, Kane, maybe some other guys. They wanted me to do it all the time once they saw it, like every night. And so I had to be real protective of it. Same thing with the frog splash. Everybody always wanted me to miss it because that's like, if you want to bring the people up to the highest moment you possibly can, it's boom, boom. Like they think, you know, I'm about to hit the finishing move and the whole thing is going to pay off right here. And then they roll out of the way and and that's the moment that everyone wants to get to, but they want me to miss it. And I feel like then I'm whoring out my finishing move by doing that all the time. So I would be like, you know, I'm not feeling it tonight. You know, I did say that. I never said like my ribs are sore because I never wanted anyone to think I was hurt, but I did tell them that it did hurt. It was a lot of impact and it was a lot asking me to do it. I did say that. And same thing with the Van Terminator. They wanted me to miss it. Fuck no, man. I'm either killing you with it. I'm killing you with it and beating you with it, or else we're not doing it. You know?
And it hurts worse to miss, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know why, but it just does. Like it's just like it seems weird, but believe it or not, from my perspective, when someone is going to suplex you, you know how they like hold them up there like real long and shit?
Like a stalling suplex? Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, if I'm that guy and they're holding me up and then finally like, boom, they drop me, it seems to hurt twice as bad as if I just like go with the momentum and just boom, take a bump. I don't know what it is, but I've always felt that way. And I can't imagine you changed my opinion now after fucking 80 years in the business.
That would kind of make sense though, I think too, because if you're like, you know, if you're getting suplexed real quick, you kind of know what your body kind of knows when to program in your head when, I'm going to take this blow now. And then in comparison to like, they're waiting, and then it happens, mate. That kind of makes a little bit of sense.
And it's probably something of the momentum, you know, being able to play with it instead of just boom, drop. But, hey, let me know when my friend is in the back room.
Yeah, because I haven't head out.
Oh, is he? Okay.
I don't know. I said let me know when he is.
That's okay. All. Yeah, I don't see him there yet, so he's still. Yeah.
Okay, so you can do.
I'll pop him when he does pop in. How should I refer to him too, Rob? Because you gave me his name, but I don't want to put it on air.
Yeah. So let me. We want to talk about current events. So I want to talk about current events. So anyone listening, if you know about the craziness that's going on in the world right now, let me give you an example. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Can I have silence for a second? Listen to the, wait, forget the intro. I just want to set it up because I'm wondering how surprised you're going to be, Dominic. Listen to this. Alexa, is Donald Trump trying to take over Venezuela?
President Trump recently authorized military action in Venezuela, resulting in the capture of President Nicolas Maduro. The U.S. is now exerting significant influence over Venezuela's government and oil industry, though the interim Venezuelan leadership has rejected U.S. claims. This complex situation involves sovereignty concerns, regional dynamics, and economic implications.
But aren't you saying that Donald says he's going to run Venezuela until we elect a new leader for them?
President Trump has stated the U.S. plans to oversee Venezuela until a safe, proper, and judicious transition occurs, with focus on rebuilding the oil industry. However, there's no specific timeline for elections or full Venezuelan autonomy.
So who's going to run Venezuela in the meantime?
Delcy Rodriguez, Maduro's former deputy, is currently serving as interim leader. The U.S. is exerting significant control over Venezuela's administration and oil industry during this transition period.
And also, Donald Trump and the U.S. doesn't acknowledge her as leader. Is that correct?
That's correct. The United States and over 60 other countries don't recognize Delcy Rodriguez as Venezuela's legitimate leader.
Thank you. We can get back to that, but what do you think?
That's pretty wild. So I was attuned to some of the Venezuelan stuff.
Hey, no, I don't care what you think. Shut up, Alexa.
I can tell you.
Stop, please. I said please.
No, I was aware of some of the Venezuelan stuff for sure, and like obviously them kidnapping the guy, and then all the other aspects where it's kind of like, yeah, what's going on down there, and it's definitely a very weird and wild time. In just that regard, we didn't even get to the other subject yet. In that regards,
Right, but it is related because it's about, and I'm talking as an observer right now.
Mhm.
I mean, the way it is, it's so fucking weird the way everything is political. And I'm not talking from a political agenda, but what I'm seeing is a wannabe dictatorship, tyrannical power that's making a military force like immune from prosecution or from any possible maybe repercussions from breaking the law. In other words, our rights don't matter right now in what I'm seeing. And we're gonna have a friend talk about it. That's gonna call in the nose a lot because he's a federal dude. But in the meantime, there's a lot going on with ICE, and everyone. It's like if you are if you're from the left, then you think ICE are just a bunch of thugs, sovereign citizens, lawless, like a privatized army. If you're from the right, then you defend them all the way and say, hey, this is what we got to do. It's time to kill a few people, and then everyone will fall in line. It's crazy times right now. People are protesting. These ICE agents, I've stayed up a couple nights, like tired as I'm going to bed, and then like you do, playing on it, and it just starts waking me up. And I'm seeing like the ICE agents, like people that protest stay outside the hotels that they're at and scream and play loud shit to keep them up all night. They slice their tires when they leave their vehicles. They stand in their way. They kick them out of their businesses, refuse to serve them. And I get it. It's like it's crazy. But then it seems like there must be the private meetings where they say, hey, we need to get a little rough with them. That's what they need, because I've seen so many videos of rights being violated. It doesn't even seem like it's a concern. Not only do they just go up to people without probable cause and force them to identify themselves, I see them entering places. I see a lot of smacking cameras, arresting people just for First Amendment activity. Just for telling them, hey, fuck off, you guys suck. Do it again, you're going to jail. And they do it. And it's like, I watch a lot of cop videos where some cops have this attitude, that's obstruction. And no, it's not. But these guys are on a whole new level. And I know that I'm only seeing some videos and parts of the videos. The one in Minnesota, that one is something that's really affected a lot of people. And what I saw for a couple of days was all these videos of a cop that shooting a woman in the face, and then the other side of the argument saying she's been blocking them and getting in their way, impeding investigation all the time. So what? That's not a death penalty.
Right.
But then I watched Nate, the lawyer, who I've referenced on this show before, one of the YouTube channels, and changed my perspective. I actually saw an angle, and I saw the guy get hit, and I didn't believe that he had got hit. But again, I'm just an observer. I've got limited information, so I'm not standing strong on much. But I am saying that I don't think the guy had to kill her.
I agree.
I think when he put his phone down and grabbed his gun instead of getting out of the way, that he wanted to kill her. It seems like shots 2 and 3 were while she was driving away with her tires turned. But according to protocol, that could be a justified shooting, because at one point the tires were pointed at him. And I saw that on the video at the if you want to look at Nate the lawyer's YouTube page. And and everyone says that he put himself in the way, which I thought so too. But when she backs up, she actually lines them up because she backs up. And then as she's going to turn her steering wheel, there is a time when she's going forward and her wheels are pointed at him. And that is when he gets hit and does the first shot. And so I get where the defense is going to back that up and say that was a justified shooting. And I get where people aren't going to accept that. And it's just really has the potential to get really ugly. So,
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Hey, your friend is here too, by the way, Rob. I can bring him on. And
so this is my friend Ray.
I gotta head out.
Okay,
yeah, thanks, Katie.
We'll talk to you in a little bit.
Congratulations. It's good to see you. I'll keep you my prayers too. Keep Carmen safe.
Tell the babies I said hi.
I will.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for all your warm wishes and prayers and good vibes and everything towards the babies.
Bring Ray on to say hi to Katie real quick.
Ray, you're on air, man. How are you?
How you doing, Katie? Congratulations. Newborns.
Thank you.
Awesome news to hear. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool. Love you, baby. I'll talk to you in a little bit.
Love you.
Okay.
All right. See Katie. All the best.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can I leave the dogs in here?
They just leave the door open. Okay. They can go in and out. I need a doggy door, like we have in the house. I love the doggy door in our. We don't have it in this room, is what I'm saying, but we love that they have that and have access to the backyard, which is secured. What a great thing! They get the whole yard.
Whole shebang.
Yeah. Hey Ray, thanks for being on, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Rob and Dom. Appreciate to be on here. I think something that I think the general audience should know, and I'm not saying that anyone is passing judgment in their own opinion, because everyone has their own opinion. And I heard what you were saying before, and I get it. I see both sides of the fence and what's going on here.
Yeah.
I spent, just to let your audience know, I spent nearly 24 years in federal law enforcement in the East Coast of the United States, numerous cities, anywhere between Philadelphia and Miami. And I just want to say that what's important to know is when we all went to training, whether it be a county, state, or FLETC or any police academy nationwide, the use of force continuum was something that's been in my wheelhouse since the beginning of training in the police academy. To educate your audience a little bit, the use of force continuum is a chart, more or less, or a step chart that began in the 1970s by Professor Gregory Connor and later was refined by a Michigan State doctor, Kevin Parsons, who has a PhD in criminal justice, I believe. And he's the one who really created the step level confrontational continuum, dealing with offender escalation when it comes to things just like we saw in Minnesota recently. Mm-hmm. And just to educate the audience a little bit and those that may want to know more about it to get a better idea, the continuum is set up in almost like a staircase where it's about 5 levels. It's a compliant level where obviously the perp or the subject is compliant. And then you have a resistant or a passive resistant where they're a little aggravated, but they tend to still be a little on the passive side. That can then escalate to a more of a active resistant. And in that case, it could also mean that the law enforcement officer has to use some type of restraint. It could be a wrist lock or something like that. And that's true for both police and even in corrections. The same kind of chart is used for correction officers as well. And then it can escalate to what will be an assaultive or a bodily harm type of situation. And that's when, the officer has means to stop that threat based on things like pepper spray or even, a
deadly force.
Things of that sort. Right. And now then we get to the most serious or grievous level, which is called assaultive, serious bodily harm or death. Mm-hmm. And that's the situation we saw that was all over the news the past few days where, we had Agent Jonathan Ross, who had spent, I believe, according to my research here, has been 10 years with ICE and had a prior military and police background as well. Unfortunately for Agent Ross, he was dragged in June of 2025 in a serious injury in Bloomington based on a similar circumstance where he was trying to do his job as an ICE agent. And the reason I bring it up, it's important to know, just like in anything else, the incident that occurred, you outlined, Rob, in a very detailed way. The individual who was involved, obviously Renee Good, the citizen who was driving the Honda Pilot. That's a pretty big item there. You're talking about a 2-ton SUV, and it would fall in the lines of the assaultive or serious bodily harm level, because whether she floored it and aimed center mass at the agent, or floored it and aimed to try to take part of his body out, this is an individual that's been trained at FLETC for his training at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, and he's been through this drill many times, not just on a once in the academy, but there's refresher training that goes on for Homeland and different agencies on a continual basis, just so they're prepared for these type of things. Now, maybe the young lady was naive. You hate to see anybody lose their life. I don't care if it's a perp or an officer or anyone. No one should lose their life. And I feel terrible that happened, and I'm sure everyone does. But this individual had...
Wait a minute. He shot her 3 times and said, "Fucking bitch."
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I don't.
He didn't care. That dude did not care.
But what I'm trying to say, though, Rob, is that I think when he had this vehicle coming at him, it is deadly force, and he was justified in trying to stop the threat. And remember, law enforcement doesn't shoot to murder, doesn't shoot to kill, doesn't shoot to maim. They shoot to stop the threat. The threat that's either on them or other people around them, that they're trying to protect the public. They're public safety officers.
Maybe
the individual was the only one that was directly in front of the vehicle, ordering commands for her to stop and to do what she was supposed to do.
Did you see where?
That's my oversight.
I'm sorry. Did you see where shots 2 and 3 are questionable because the threat was already passed?
Well, in that circumstance, shoot to stop the threat could mean more than one round. Now, I'm not an expert in ballistics, and I can't tell you exactly. I didn't see a detailed part of the video where the rounds actually went, if all 3 shots entered her or if at least 1 or 2 did. I know they came into the upper body or head area. I know I did read about that. Like I said, this is in Minnesota. I'm retired now, and I'm looking at it like you are, but I am giving some expert advice on what happens during the interim training and what they're trained to do.
Can I ask this too? So you talk about de-escalation and stuff like that when it comes to it. The officers that approached it, they didn't seem to necessarily try to calm the waters more. So it was more hostile of hey, get out of the car, or more aspects to that kind of and
opening up. Did they have probable cause to open up her handles, the door handles?
Yeah, and in the edges and circumstance, you don't need to have a warrant. You don't need to have to worry about Amendment rights for search and seizure, things of that level. When you're dealing with an emergency or exigent circumstance, you're trying to stop somebody that's causing grievous bodily harm to either them or others.
No, but it wasn't an exigent circumstance before she gassed it, right? I mean, she gassed it because they lifted the handles up. They tried to break in.
Well, it was, the whole thing was considered an emergency because she was, not only was she just, at the last moment, the deadly force situation, but prior to that, if you look at the video from many angles, I saw pretty much every angle on Fox News and even CNN and everywhere else. The number of angles you saw, she had her partner there who was, trying to agitate the agents. I heard from some stuff I saw in the news that they were blocking the officers in their vehicle and other parts of the demonstration area, and it was an all-day agitation that was going on. I don't think it's smart for anyone to be there and to just continually agitate law enforcement all day long. I think that's to be a professional agitator. I mean, that's not where your life wants to go as a career. I just don't think that's probable to do something like that.
I did happen to see some footage though that was from a house nearby, and they were showing that car was parked in the kind of the middle of the road, but they were letting people through at the same time. So it wasn't like they were necessarily blocking off anything to that effect too. I guess you brought up too the fact that this gentleman was injured earlier, got dragged by a car, and I think he had 31 stitches. I think I heard.
Yeah, seriously injured. Yep.
An aspect like that, if you put that, if he's had previous trauma, like a situation that he's gone through right there, is it necessarily right for him to be out there doing the work that he's doing? Then, if something like that could trigger him and to cause him to shoot somebody 3 times.
Well, Dom, I kind of understand what you're saying, and I even thought that same pattern. You know, I can't speak for Homeland Security or for ICE or their specific agency, but I don't think that they would allow him to go back on the job unless he was cleared medically and evaluated that he was good to go. You know, like I said, you know, I look in hindsight's 2020, and I'm looking at this as a job. I was never an ICE agent, but I did work in federal law enforcement for over 23 years, and I look at this as the training involved, and I'm really trying to pinpoint exactly where the appropriate defense happened in the situation based on what the training's involved, where they're training, how they go by the rules and regs that they learn, and how they continually train for things like this. Because remember, yes, it was a terrible thing to have the woman lose her life, but also the police want to go home to their wife and kids and their family every day too. You know what I mean? We're all human beings, and we all take an oath to do what we do in police work, but we all want to be able to go home safe. And if you've already, and look at it this way, Dom, to look at it this way, if he's had this trauma before, he knows what it's like to be in the end of an injury of grievous bodily harm. Okay. And that level of trauma he went through could have been deadly force if those, you know, if he was injured, even dragged on his head or something in the previous encounter. So what I'm saying is that having the incident before, could it make judgment on what he did? It could. You know, that's a gray area. You're right. But on the other hand, if he's had that kind of trauma before, perhaps he knows what could go bad, and he wants to try to avoid that and stop the threat so that it doesn't happen to him, especially if he's right in front of the vehicle. As Rob, you mentioned, you said that some videos, and there were a few where I saw, you know, it didn't look like that he was in front of the vehicle. But then when you saw the camera that was on the person himself and so forth, you can see where, you know, it actually happened where he was hit.
I think part of it, though, too, is why would he be in front of the vehicle if he knows that that's like a dangerous area to be in? Obviously, if you put yourself there, you like, I think protocol for like an officer they'd be well aware to, hey, I can't stand in front of this vehicle because something dangerous could happen to me. Like, I think that's almost like a common sense kind of thing in certain ways.
Well,
too.
it may be a common sense for a civilian, but if you're trying to talk a person out of the vehicle and you're trying to get them, you want to have, you know, in this case, it appeared there were more than at least 2 to 3 agents around the vehicle, surrounding the vehicle, and they want to try to be able to, you know, voice their commands, tell them what to do, be clear in what they do, and articulate it properly to get out of the vehicle. Now, whether they were yelling or whatever, excited from the emotions, yes, but you know, you can't just be on the side of an SUV and say, "Would you get out of the vehicle?" You got to show a command that you're in charge, and you're taking in charge of the situation, and you're doing it where you have the vehicle surrounded by all 3 points, left, right, and center. And this particular individual who was in the center was the one who was, you know, more culpable being hurt. But on the other hand, he had to be there to voice his command. And he was a 10-year veteran with the agency. So he probably was a senior person on site to do so.
Rob, do you have some questions? I have a couple more, but
no, he came around and then said it there towards the end. But as he explained it to me earlier, if he had the experience of being dragged before, I thought like you, like, well, wait a minute. Then if he's like a victim of trauma, but then the way he explained it, he might not be a victim of trauma. He might just be more ready in case he's in that situation again. You know what I mean? If you look at it that way, then okay, then it's hard to make that nefarious.
Ray, you talked about, obviously you didn't have like ICE training or that kind of experience. You're more federal agent kind of stuff. Like the big concern with the ICE aspect is that these are guys that are not necessarily well trained. Now, this person in particular you're talking about has 10 years of experience in other forms, but like a lot of these ICE agents, the big thing against them is like, it doesn't seem like they've had a lot of experience. I do hear a lot of the times that a lot of these guys are just kind of almost wannabes to be in this aspect, to try to get in this situation. And like, I'm always, the thing that really scratches my head constantly about all this is, why are they wearing masks? Like, if you're a police officer, you should not
be license plates too.
Yeah, why are you keeping yourself a mystery? You should be putting yourself out there. Like, it just seems like, forgive the phrase, but Gestapo tactics almost to me.
Well,
like,
what I've been hearing on the other side, though, is that they're wearing the mask because I believe there was a lot of problems where they were being harassed personally. They're getting death threats, having their homes vandalized, their personal lives. Some people knew them with social media and how different it is now than it was 20 years ago even. recognizing a face and so forth. It kind of, you want to protect, the officers want to protect them. And you hear a lot in some of the sanctuary cities and some of the liberal cities are saying, oh, they're Gestapos, they're this, they're that, and they're kidnapping. And the thing is, they're all wearing clearly marked flak jackets that say police, ICE, federal law enforcement. Could a kidnapper go and wear a police jacket? Sure, anybody could do that. But what I'm saying is they are clearly marked that they are law enforcement, but they are protecting their identity also by wearing the mask or wearing the face to cover their facial recognition.
Okay.
I just made this comment when I was talking to Ray before about this, that it reminds me very much of the Blackwater privatized armies that Bush was using and sending over to overseas. I don't know, it was Iraq, whoever we were at war with at the time. Anyway, the Blackwater soldiers were like above the law. They were private, so they were funded. So while our army guys had to sleep on, ripped up blanket, the way they describe it, the army had the shits, and they had all the brand new Hummers and fucking best machine guns and weapons, because they were funded by a guy, just paid for them, but also because they weren't subject to our army's rules, they were over there just killing villages, thrashing everybody, and then the army was getting blamed for it. At least that's the way the news got reported down the line. And I had said it kind of reminds me of that, especially because Donald is using the military as his privatized army, and I've seen videos of cops standing off with them and not wanting them in their property and stuff. And it almost seems like a civil unrest. Like it seems closer than any other time in my life, even though it's been a threat always. They've always talked about civil unrest. Every gun owner will tell you they want to keep a gun usually to protect themselves from the government, and that's the way that the Constitution was written, the Second Amendment. I get that, but right now it's really scary seeing all the hate that they have and seeing how crazy and how politically it got divided. Like you totally have one opinion on the left, one opinion on the right, and I don't know. I heard somewhere that I thought was really smart. Your opponent isn't necessarily your enemy. So if you got a friend that thinks different than you, votes different than you, that doesn't mean you have to hate them and like fucking, hey, how about a piece of vibe out there? Light up something.
You're bringing a great point up, and I'm not a young person anymore. We're all in our age. We are, but
don't be saying that because you're my age.
I would venture a guess that I don't know how old you are, Don, but I know that Rob and I aren't too far apart in age. And I remember being a kid watching a show called Johnny Carson's Tonight Show. Yeah. And in 1980, around then, you had the Jimmy Carter running for a second term, and you had Ronald Reagan running for his first term. And Johnny Carson was asked, "Hey, who are you voting for, Johnny?" And he goes, "I'm not telling you who, because I don't want to lose half my audience." And if you look at today with what's going on with recording artists, Bruce Springsteen, Kid Rock, Taylor Swift. I mean, they're all picking, Rock is for Trump and Springsteen was for Kamala Harris. And I mean, everyone is, voicing their opinion. And, I think they should all go back to the ideology of Johnny Carson. I don't want to lose half my audience. I know people who are Republicans that don't want to watch Robert De Niro movies anymore because he didn't like Trump. Or I have friends who are Democrat that, they don't want to listen to Kid Rock anymore. I mean, I think that when you think about it, maybe these folks have so much money they don't care, but it seems like maybe it's just me, but it seems like, to see the governor, or not necessarily the governor, the mayor of Minneapolis say, F that, and just start screaming like a crazy man. Yeah, he's emotional, but I don't remember being a kid watching TV and watching people just start dropping the F-bomb. You can't even watch a highlight on the news, and there's beeps to the point where you can't even understand what they're saying at all. And if you guys understand where I'm coming from, it just seems like you brought the point up, Rob. Why can't we just agree to disagree? And, Saturday Night Live used to be with Eddie Murphy and used to be where they make fun of everybody. But the past years, Saturday Night Live, it's, God forbid to say something about Biden, but you can cuss out Trump all you want. I just think both sides should just kind of, everybody has thick skin. If anybody played high school football, they know. But in the locker room, and that's fine. But don't go to the point where it gets personal, and you don't want to, you want to have hatred like that.
I can speak to that. First off, we had an old school rule in my business that's not used anymore, which is the response to talking about shit like that that's going to kill half your audience. It's called kayfabe, motherfucker. and that's exactly right. It takes balls to let a little of your true feelings known, though. And I got to say this, on the other hand, when you're in the spotlight, because you're some form of celebrity, because you're famous, sometimes you feel obligated to use that because you know that you are very influential on people and you feel like you're doing the right thing, just like Bible thumpers feel like it's their mission to tell you, accept Jesus Christ. It's not too late. And you might say, bro, don't you got nothing better to do? But to them, no, that means a lot to them, just like other things mean stuff to all of us. We all got different values. So that's I feel an obligation sometimes where, like let's say it was something we all agreed upon, like stop bullying. If I said, hey, I'm going to take a stand on stop bullying, then you wouldn't say, in high schools or whatever, then you wouldn't say, hey, kayfabe, like keep your thoughts to yourself. But if I said ICE is a bunch of bullies, then it's another story, but not necessarily from everyone's perspective.
Yeah, I think a big aspect of it too, and you mentioned like what Johnny Carson said, and I think there is that kind of an escapism. People are looking for an escape out of their daily lives and the troubles and aspects that go with, dealing with politics or dealing with societal matters or the economy, whatever it may be. And so if you tune into you listen to a certain artist, or you watch wrestling, or you go and watch pro football, or, try to find something to get out of that element, a lot of that's been taken away today. And right. I think that is a big shame of it all. I really do not have any political ties on either side. I don't consider myself one side or the other with any of it. But I just do think it's unfortunate that everything is embedded inside of politics. And what do you vote red? Do you vote blue? And whose side are you on? Where basically, you had that kind of political division even back when I was a kid, and the 2000s era. So I'm 40 years old. So they had that kind of, but not to this level where it's divided. Somebody just said it here in this hit. Silky J says, keep us divided so we don't rise up and ask why and where the FR tax dollars are constantly mishandled. And I think it is. It's like a divide and conquer thing in a lot of ways. And I think that's kind of an unfortunate thing of what's been embedded into pop culture, where that should be an escape for people and not something that, picks a side a lot of the times. It's, but I do get Rob's point too, is you feel like if you get to that level, you feel like you have that ability to say something and speak your mind about something that you passionately believe in too at the same time. So
it leads to something where Colbert and Kimmel and some of the late night shows. I mean, I think Kimmel got suspended and then he came back, and Colbert's show is off the air or going off the air. I think what it is people overall, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, left, right, or even in the middle, when you watch something on TV and you don't it's not funny anymore. Where's the comedy? I mean, growing up watching Saturday Night Live, John Belushi and Eddie Murphy and Steve Martin, and just watching them make fun of George Bush, or it was all, and then you go and you make fun of everybody was open season for everyone. Mm-hmm. And if you don't make how many times you can make fun of Trump? I mean, Trump, he's easy to make fun of, sure, I agree, and you know what, and obviously Biden was easy to make fun of.
Every president,
all of them
have to be a target if you're the president.
That make them funny. You're right. Yeah, both of you guys are right about it, but. Yeah. Make it open season for everybody. Don't just feel like you have to just put one guy in the rabbit hole and the other person's not.
Well, so when I saw Jesse Ventura when I was there at John Cena's last match, he told me the exact same thing, that he said during that interview that we probably all saw.
I have it. Do you want me to play it? I only got a little clip of it, so it's only like a. Here,
Sure.
I can play what he said. Part of this.
Maybe it's time for Jesse. I only did one term. I'm owed a second. You want to know something? I'll give you a quote. We're a third world country now. You want to know why? I'm an expert. I've been to them. I spent 17 months in Southeast Asia while the draft dodger was playing golf, right? You know how I know we're a third world country? Because in third world countries, they have the military doing their police work in the cities when you walk around. I was in the Philippines the day Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law and went under dictatorship. We went from nobody to a guy with a machine gun on every corner. That's what happens in a dictatorship. In comes the military. That's what's happening here.
Is he wrong?
It's I've never seen it to this level, to be honest. Like never to, and
And I've seen that. I've seen the military with machine guns. It's very uncomfortable for me, And at first I was shocked when I saw it. I see it in Tijuana. I think a lot of us have. I've seen it in Africa. I'm not even, it doesn't stand out necessarily everywhere. Ray and I both have been to a lot of different countries, but it is like that in third world countries. They go, even at the airport, they got these big ass machine guns. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you going to do with that? Not that I know guns. I mean, I call it machine guns just because it's a big rifle.
Sure.
But
Yeah. I don't know.
But anyway, does he have is he wrong?
Well, from the observance part, Jesse's very outspoken. We all know that from all the years he's been in wrestling and was the governor of Minnesota. He's an outspoken guy. From the outside looking in, if you saw a lot of military with, M16 or an AR or whatever they're carrying, sure, it looks that way. It's projected that way. But I think the reason they're doing that is because they're just trying to get, if we didn't have so much problems, we as a country didn't have so much problems getting out the illegals that were just allowed to walk across the border during the last administration, we probably wouldn't have the situation we have right now, and there's a lot of folks that are here that are illegal that, they're just trying to make a living. And I know people personally in the past that have done that. And, they're not all part of, Trinidad, or they're not part of a gang, but they are, there are some that are. And I think what they're trying to do is you're just trying to get rid of the pretty, lengthy, murderous type people that we have here that came into this country that really shouldn't be here. That doesn't mean that the guy that has his own, his own company he put together, he did come here illegally, yes, but he's trying to make a living and contribute to the community. Is he the guy they're really looking for? I don't believe so. I think they're trying to get the folks that are the problems in society, the rapists, the child molesters, the folks that have committed these heinous crimes and so forth, trying to get them out to make our country safer. And if we could get the locals in the state and the feds all to work together, just to work together and cooperate, I think that would alleviate a lot of the need to have the National Guard.
I think, I think like I've developed feelings on this subject strong enough to go ahead and state, and I'm not, coming from either side. I'm not political at all either, but I kind of really believe in my heart of hearts that ridding our country of immigrants, illegal immigrants, I think that's as improbable as ridding it of marijuana. They started the war on marijuana, ruined people's lives, although they created good business for the feds and for everyone involved, DEA, everyone involved on the law side. But now for, let's see, in 1970 when Nixon first brought it up, so now we're talking 56 years of a war on drugs, and now boom, they've legalized marijuana because you can't rid it. All you've done is that's not all you've done, but the damage toll on 50 some years of fighting it, arresting people, killing people, selling their property, putting them in cages and ruining lives. It didn't make progress. It never did. And I think that there's enough immigrants in our country to where we would probably looking at like the same thing. I mean, the plant can't even move itself and hide behind a couch like an immigrant can. I think it's going to be a war that's going to fund an agenda, and that there's still going to be like so many of them, and there are so many of them that are still coming across the border like today, as I understand it. And I don't know that much about it to talk like an expert, so I'm not going to throw numbers out, but I understand that like right now, like every day, that's still happening. So it's not, if that's true, and with everything else that I've said, I don't think that it's a war we can win. It's only something, and I'm not saying you just give up. I'm not president, so I don't have to make that call. But what do you guys think about that?
Ray, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that I think you're right in a certain level there, Rob. Like I said, back before, if we go back a few administrations, I mean, there's always been an element of illegals that come into the country. I'm sure they come into other countries too, but America is the melting pot, and my family's got a background in obviously in Europe and so forth, and we came here as immigrants back in my grandparents' day and so forth, and we came in legally, and we did. But our country is basically made up of our country is fairly new. Traveling overseas, that you go to a bar in England and they're built in the 1200s, and I'm
right.
Unfathomable to realize, and the ceilings are only about 5 feet tall too. So, but the funny thing though is, you in an odd sense, is that our country is fairly 250 years this July. I mean, not that old. And you look at some of these other countries and where people are from, and that's what makes our country amazing, because we have a melting pot of so many different celebratory backgrounds. You see some of these soccer matches, they have people waving their flags, they're proud of their heritage. I think it's wonderful that we have a country like that. But when you bring in people and let other countries empty out their prisons and their undesirables and just send them across the border, that's kind of like making more of a garbage dump of our society. And I don't mean it to denote and insult any heritage that does that. I'm just saying, because I'm proud of mine, and I have a lot of friends that are from different first generation countries. But what I'm saying is that I think if you guys can realize what I mean here, is that right now there were millions of people that came in, and and it's nice to have the talents and the different cultural interests, the food. I love international food and everything, and it's wonderful. And some of the folks that come in here are really good, decent people. But I think we just got to try to get rid of the heavy criminal element that was able to be influenced to get here with the open borders. That would not have happened if we had the closed borders. But you're right, we're never going to get rid of every illegal immigrant. Just like you said, it's always going to be part of our culture. And it's actually made our culture refined by having that. But on the other hand, we want to get rid of the folks that are causing these senseless crimes and violence. We want to stop that and make our country, because the bottom line is we all want to live in a safe and healthy society. We don't. The one thing that gets me is they were so concerned about COVID-19 and people coming in and having them vetted for disease, but then you open the borders up and everybody's running in here and nobody's checked for anything. And it's a shame. And hopefully we can come together as one nation and try to just make our country safe and healthy.
Yeah, I think too, something that I always kind of, again, I guess it goes back to the division thing, how people like immigration laws and everything like that has always kind of been a hot button issue, and it's always kind of been a topic that a lot of the politicians will utilize to their advantage to kind of get an edge on something, or they'll take a stance and then, hey, okay, then I got to vote for this person because he feels the same way I do, or she feels the same way I do. And so like, I'm always curious, obviously there's illegal immigration. You get criminals in here, and you do get your ne'er-do-wells, but you get a lot of good people coming in at the same time too. So I always try to balance it out. Like, is it really that huge of an issue? Because it's never affected me personally. I've lived in Philadelphia for 5 years. I've been in cities, lived in the city life. I've never experienced any trouble when it comes to illegal immigration or anything, where I do think it's used as a tool to divide people more so than Rob. And
bless you.
And so I kind of weigh that out too, where it's just like I think a lot of this can somewhat be political driven in a lot of ways. Do you feel that, Ray?
let me
Or Rob?
let me say this. You know, it seems like that the ICE's aggressive approach with people, whether they're immigrants or citizens, there seems like their disregard for people's rights to an extent is probably with a reason. I think they probably were told to be that way. I feel like our president is backing all of that up with everything that he's saying, that we're going to be real aggressive. This is the way to go. And also, boom, you know, I'm the Donald. He's got the ex-leader of Venezuela in prison for drugs, for bringing drugs into our country and stuff. But also, in the meantime, as I understand it, as Alexa explained, he's taken it upon himself to run Venezuela and to not acknowledge who they voted into office, but instead he wants to run it and have us vote on who to put into Venezuela. Not only do I mean, I think that's a violation of the national treaty. I think that's like a dominating plan. When people compare it to Hitler, I think about when I grew up, countries were trying to grow by taking over countries and shit. Like that was still always the fear. And it hasn't seemed like it in a while, at least in the bubble that I live in. And now, with all this going on, it's like civil unrest, and I'm hearing that the cartels have put a $10,000 bounty on the head of an ICE agent, any ICE agent. I don't know if that's true, but it's getting scary, and I'm watching it get even more aggressive. And I know that Trump's just going to turn up the more aggressiveness as he needs it. And I get that is according to policy when you talk about the continuum force and how the escalation has to match those stages that Ray mentioned. And I get that. And in the case of Minnesota, it does, all the way up to where she assaulted him by going forward with the car. And so I get that. So according to the policy, they're doing the right thing. Morally, that's where we might disagree. But I feel like Donald is absorbing power, and he's got the followers backing him up with it. But there's going to be a fight. Nobody's giving up easy. So I don't know what's going to happen.
A couple things to respond to, Rob, to go back. Thank you. When you talk about what happened when Maduro was captured, there was a warrant for him, a federal warrant for him, or an indictment for him since 2020. And not only that, but the Biden administration put a $25 million reward out there if he could be captured. So both sides of the aisle wanted him to be captured. And
I think that part's awesome.
What's that?
I said, I think that part's awesome that we caught him. He challenged us too, right? Said, you want to get me, come and get me, right?
Exactly. So he did, and they got him. And thanks to our special operations military, who took a big part in that, along with the DEA, they were able to capture him. And I think everyone should be, applaud that as Americans. But it seems like the left still had a problem with it, even though they're the ones that had the.
You don't think it has more to do with taking over control of the country?
Well,
I just think it's over oil more than anything else.
I'm not here to defend Trump. I'm sorry, Dom. I don't want to interrupt you.
No, that's okay.
I'm not here to defend Trump. What I'm here to say is, it appears to me that they captured the man, and he's going to be tried for his crime. And are
people upset about him being captured?
Well, they've shown some folks in the Democratic Party said that he was kidnapped and all these kind of things, but. Regardless of that, on the other point you made is Trump trying to take over Venezuela? I think what it is he's trying to get the oil refined, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in the history when Maduro took over the country and wasn't the official president, based on I think what the polling showed that he didn't win, but he became president anyway by force or whatever. And a lot of the oil was stolen from some of the American oil companies like Exxon and so forth. This is what I read about. So that being said, perhaps they're just trying to get their fair share back. And from what I understand, he doesn't. We don't want to take over. We're not going to turn, their country into Alaska, where we bought Alaska. We're not going to do that.
Trump-Venezuela.
Yeah, right. We're gonna, from what I understand, we as a country are gonna try to help the Venezuelans, because they were rejoicing when Maduro was out, the dictator was out, so they could have hopefully a fair election and have a peaceful country. So that's can't do it overnight, but it's happening in stages, and I think that's what will eventually occur.
But what about that woman that they voted in?
Hmm?
With that, we don't acknowledge.
Yeah,
I think she's working with the administration, because I think there were other people that were trying to get out of there, but I think they're all cooperating now in an appropriate way to run the country. So we'll see where it goes. We can't be the watchdog for everybody either.
No, that's how I feel. I was like, we're spreading ourselves thin, and I think it's
Tell
more.
That to Donald. Tell that to Donald.
Yeah, right.
I think there comes to a point, though, where you go out there and you try to resolve wars, and to his credit, he did. But like you said, I don't think we need to continually, put out the fires overseas. I think we did do important things with Iran and things that happened there with the threat of nuclear weapons and so forth, to keep our world, our hemisphere, and our world safe. But we can't go out there continually and make it such an international interest that we got to look out for what we're doing behind our own border here. That's most important.
Absolutely. Ray, to double back real quick about the Minnesota thing and everything, I have a stand where I just think it was wrong. I don't think it was handled right. I think that woman was killed and murdered. Putting yourself in that position, how would you have handled it? If from your experience and everything like that, what would you have done differently to kind of what we talked about, maybe de-escalate the situation, try to make that, ultimately best for everybody that was involved?
I think in any law enforcement job, I think communication is important. Mm-hmm. I think you can try to, there's verbal judo, there's different techniques we learn over the years and as Leo, but I think de-escalating and communication is the most important thing you can have. You got to try to develop a rapport even with your adversary in this case. Perhaps a little better communication would have helped. I don't know. I wasn't actually there, but I do know, as Rob agreed, that in the situation, based on the continuum and how it stands with the serious bodily harm level, he did have appropriate action, because he was hit by the vehicle. Now, whether she tried to hit him in a malicious manner, or hit him where he was hit and not completely hit or partially hit, you can't play games like that. They have a thing called suicide by cop. It's a famous saying in I taught criminal justice a number of years, and what that means is a guy will pull up a firearm in front of a group of police and aim it at them, and of course they're going to shoot because they think they want to stop the threat, and then obviously numerous firearms going off in the subject's direction it's called suicide by cop. And I'm not saying that's what she did, but when you're in that situation and you've studied the law enforcement continuum, you've been through numerous trainings, because obviously there's refresher training, there's a police academy, and you're in that situation. That's why, legally, based on the continuum, he was righteous in trying to stop the threat. How many times his weapon went off? If it was, 3 times or whatever, that's you shoot to stop the threat, not to kill, and you shoot center of mass. We're not trained to try to wound the person in the arm. You shoot center of mass, and maybe when he was hit and struck, his weapon might have gone higher, and that would have, when the weapon went off, it went higher and hit in the head area instead of hitting the center of mass. I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't there, and I'm just like you guys. I'm looking at a video like you guys are, but I'm trying to put together my training when I was an agent and put that together with what I'm seeing now. And I might have a little more knowledge based on 20 plus years of what I did. But on the other hand, I also want to look at what other people have to say and hear their opinions too. But I think If you asked me the direct question, Dom, I probably would have done the same thing if somebody was coming at me with their vehicle. And we're starting to see some police, even on the I believe it was the Chicago chief, and there's some other departments who are coming out and they're saying, yeah, it was a good shoot based on the
Wait, Chicago banned ICE from bringing arms into the city. Where did you see that?
No, I believe there was a police chief that was on recently where he indicated that it was a good shoot. I believe it was a video out this past couple of days.
I was going to ask you about this. I saw like the mayor of Philly, said that they're not going to stand for that there, and I think it was a DA in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken, that I heard that they banned ICE from bringing in their guns and shit. And I was going to ask you because they said this is a DA for sure. I think it's from Chicago that was saying if you guys from ICE pull that shit here, you will be prosecuted and I will throw you in jail. And he said something that I wanted to ask you about. He said the vice president, regardless of him saying everything's cool, whatever, he said that the feds, I don't know if he said feds or he said Trump. He said Donald Trump cannot excuse you or whatever the word is from a state court conviction. And he stood on it. Do you hear me? And it was on a lawyer show that I was watching. And Bruce Cutler, he's the criminal lawyer, big fan. And he actually seconded that. He said he's right about that. Since when did the feds not have power over the state?
I believe there's a supremacy clause that allows the feds to have the overall say in a situation. I believe that's what it is, based on that occurring. I don't think it could be done the way I did see that. I believe it was an officer in Philadelphia, a female, indicated that, like you said, we're not going to stand for that here and you'll be arrested. But I think that will be an obstruction on part of the locals if the supremacy clause comes in part and they try to actually, obstruct the agents from doing their job.
What defines obstruction? Don't you have to be I don't know. I mean, do you have to be like actively trying to prevent them from being able to pursue their investigation with physical actions?
Yeah, I mean, if you if you've got a federal warrant, I mean, this even occurred in the courts, I believe. It wasn't too long ago. We've all seen this. There's been so much going on lately with all this different situations. I think there was a judge that had an immigrant who had an active warrant with the feds, and they went to go get the person who was in the courthouse, and then the judge, I think, had the person go out the back door or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, and then now she's been charged with obstruction of a federal agent from arresting the person that had the warrant because the person was there, and then they said, "Oh, they're not here now," or
right.
I don't know. I really don't have the details on it, but I believe she's being charged with obstruction of justice because she helped the guy escape, more or less. She harbored the situation and allowed the fugitive to escape.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, so it's a very, very difficult time to my kids I have a college level son now, and I told him I do not want you to be a cop.
I don't blame you there.
He's got a completely different major. He's a sophomore in college now. He's 19, and he is. I said, you better get your law degree as soon as you. I said, I started out with law school, and then I wound up getting my master's degree. But I told him, go to law school and take your LSATs, get your Juris Doctorate, and then you can do what you want to do after that. But do not, you want to get into police work after that, that's fine. It's up to you. But do not get into law enforcement. A lot of my friends who are who are retired like myself in different agencies, their children, they've told them the same thing, and majority of them are not getting into the law enforcement because you just don't have the backing of your superiors anymore the way it is. It's a totally different world out there, and
or the public.
There's nothing we can do about it.
It's definitely a different situation. I mean, like, obviously it's always going to be a tough profession to get into because of the circumstances and risks you take. But in today's world too, with how polarizing everything is, it's another added element that goes into play. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I think that's probably some good advice for your son for sure.
Yeah, it is. And my I tell my other son the same thing, who's younger. Pick a career that you can do well in and be financially successful. But again, go to law school. Both my two boys, I want them to go to law school.
Yeah, that's good. It's good advice, I would say. Yeah, I just to close out the Minnesota situation,
or become a pro wrestler. Or
yeah, do that. That's a good point too, right?
I can't tell you can't make it. Look at me.
Yeah, right. That's it. No, I just. I just think about that woman, 37 years old. I don't look at her as any kind of like threat, minus the car aspect, and that's debatable, I think, and what all kind of happened and everything. And it's just like for her to lose her life like that, 3 gunshots to her, when I think something like that just could have been resolved in a much different and safer manner. Obviously, I'm not there, but from what I was gathering, what I've seen over different footage and different sites of it, and just kind of gathered different opinions, I just think it was an unnecessary and very, very obviously sad situation that happened.
And by the way, even though I said that I get where the where let me just say, even if it was in the end considered a justified shooting, I don't feel like he probably had to make that choice. And
I feel the same way.
I believe that. I mean, I saw the video many times. And at a certain point, she actually spoke out the window to one of the agents.
Said, "I'm not mad at you."
Right. Yes, I remember saying that, uttering those words. I don't think that she's like this terrible, violent person. I think she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And it's very unfortunate that it had to happen. But I think, on the other hand, I think it was a good shoot because of the situation at hand, where she did hit the agent with the vehicle, and she could have really maimed the guy. But right now, I really believe that she was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and she just was in that exact moment. There was a threat to his life, and maybe she didn't take it as seriously as she should have. And hopefully this is a learning experience for not only, the woman who caused the assault on the agent, but also for people to look at the situation tactically and maybe handle it in a different way. But there's no doubt in my mind, 100%, that under the circumstances, the agent did react according to the continuum in the appropriate manner, and deadly force was needed and was justified. Like I said, I don't think she was a career criminal. I don't think she was a terrible person. I think she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And those precious seconds when she did do that was all it took to turn the tables. And it's really a sad situation overall, the whole thing.
Absolutely, it is. No doubt about that, for sure. And we're all going to have some different opinions and viewpoints on it. Certainly the chat is as well too, and I appreciate everybody's different discourse in it, and people are very passionate about it at the same time too. So,
sure.
And Ray, thank you for joining me and giving a different perspective for it too. And
I'm gonna get to bed, guys. It's 11:15 on the East Coast, and I'm gonna.
Yeah, you're all good, man. Well, thank you for tuning in, and appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Have a good night. Thank you.
All right. Take care, guys. How about
all right?
Bye-bye.
Later. Bye. Well, cool, Rob. That was cool to have a different. When you brought that up in text, I was like, oh yeah, because I've been watching it. I've been really keeping tabs on it all, and I definitely have my opinion where I think that woman was murdered. I differ with Ray on it. I think it was unnecessary, but
that automatically makes you a Democrat. No,
that's right.
That's really crazy, right?
Right, that's it. Right, I'm automatically categorized as something.
That's what's really insane.
Let's do a couple wrestling stuff here before we close on out, Rob. Real quick, I wanted to. You probably didn't see. Maybe you did see it. Drew McIntyre actually won the WWE Championship. He beat Cody. what do you think of Drew McIntyre? I don't think I've ever got your perspective on him as a wrestler.
I like him. I like him. You know, when I think of him, I think about when I was there and they were on their way up. You know, him and man, who was I just gonna mention? Jinder. You know, like they were
3-man band. Him and Heath Slater.
There you go. Yeah, and you know, going through the frustrations of working your way up the card and stuff, and then it's cool to see that pay off for all of them. You know, but him, you know, he's he you know, looks great, and he's got an accent that makes him interesting. I heard that he was going to be in the Highlander movie. I read that somewhere. That sounds awesome. Sounds like that'd be great for him. And yeah, I just saw that just mentioned before the show somewhere that he was. Oh, I don't know. It was a YouTube video where they were saying that they thought WWE did good by going with him. I guess he won it in Scotland.
Yeah, he won it in Berlin, but I think he went to Scotland afterwards for like a house show or a live event.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I personally like him as a dude. He's always been really cool, and you know, the crowd must take to him too, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. No, he's a great heel. Like I labeled him like 2024. He was my wrestler of the year because he just did fantastic work. He was like feuding with CM Punk, and CM Punk was injured for most of the year, and he still made that such a captivating feud just by what he was doing as a bad guy, and I thought it was great.
Nice.
Yeah, hats off to Drew. Hey, we got to mention this too. That Finn Balor mentioned that he smoked weed during work to help him work out, and then I saw you tweeted back at him too. And I thought that was a pretty fun exchange between you and Finn.
Yeah, you didn't see the AI graphic somebody made of me and Finn, me and Finn smoking in the weight room.
That's great. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Have you interacted with Finn pretty a lot in the past?
No, not a lot at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just in passing.
Yeah, he seems like a good dude too. I like Finn a lot. He's very talented. I want to make sure. Did we get all the super chats here? Frankie asked this. I guess this was more maybe for Ray, but he says if you get arrested for something really bad and they have a lot of hard proof, should you tell the cops everything honestly or ask for a lawyer? I guess you could talk about this, Rob. Maybe.
And they have a lot of hard proof. No, you don't.
Everything.
Never talk to the cops.
Yeah.
Never. If you can avoid it, it never pays off.
No, right?
I don't think so. I mean, that's your Fifth Amendment is your right to not self-incriminate, and the cops' whole agenda. Like if he pulls you over and starts asking questions, where you been, you know, where you headed to, automatically he's looking for stuff to use against you. So the best way you can protect yourself is just say, I don't answer questions. Especially if you know you're in trouble, you know what I mean? I mean, you don't take the field sobriety test, because that's just we talked about that before, how they start by saying follow my eye and don't move your head, and then and they might even start out here, but then they go way over here, and then if you don't do it anymore, they use that against you, and they tell you, you know, follow it, and if you try to follow it, you're straining because you can't fucking see that far because you're not a fish. But they don't give a fuck. They're going to use that against you. Oh, you were shaking. You know, definitely your eyes are red. And it's all bullshit. They are looking for things to use against you. And when you talk, your only hope is to incriminate yourself.
Yeah, you're only going to implicate yourself even further and further.
And definitely if it's something big, then just get a lawyer, and I'm 100% sure that your lawyer would tell you don't talk to the cops.
Yeah, your lawyer would 100% tell you that for sure. Hey, Rob, we got to talk about our new sponsor that we've been working on for quite a bit here. It's Happy Hippo, and I got some of the product here. It looks awesome. This is the green Bureno kratom powder here, and then I also have this shot drink too, which is really cool looking.
Nice.
Yep.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, so the powder,
Yes.
doesn't taste really great.
Uh-huh.
It's very effective, but sometimes it's hard to get motivated to want to scoop that just to taste it. But when you have the shot, it's a controlled amount, obviously, whatever's in there. I don't know, it's got 20 grams, 30 grams, whatever.
Like
Is it
contact
15?
me.
No,
I'm not
whatever.
sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, anyway, doesn't matter about that. That's way too much to start out. But it's convenient, obviously, and it's not going to taste bad. It's going to taste like whatever the flavor says. If it's fucking tangerine, then it's going to taste like watermelon, of course.
This one's tropical here, so.
Okay.
But there's plenty of options. I have a huge box of other stuff in here. They also have the gummies too, the Kratom gummies, which look pretty good.
Very convenient way to get a dosage in. And so, yeah, this is cool. I've been talking about Kratom for a long time. I always recommend it if people want to try it and say they might get good results, because I have, a lot of my friends have. And so, yeah, we got some friends going now here. So going to make it convenient for you to be able to experience it. People a lot of times either haven't heard, or they ask what it is, or where to get it. And I always got to tell them it's usually at head shops where they sell pipes and stuff like that, not where they sell cannabis. Kratom is a leaf from a plant that's in the coffee family. They dry the leaf out, and then it has ingredients in it that bind to your opiate sensors, and they have done tremendous things for some of my friends that were looking for ways to alleviate pain or sleeping problems, or even anxieties. So stuff like that is what to expect. And also, a lot of people do get high off of it. I don't, and so I don't know if you will or not.
What would you recommend for somebody that was wanting to try it out that's relatively new to it?
Well, I mean, there's legal boundaries on what you can recommend, because yeah, and it's something the government really has their eye on, yet it's not a controlled substance or an opiate, even though a lot of people will tell you that it is, but it's not. But anyway, I mean, it depends on, like I said, I mean, if you got one of those things that you're looking for relief in, or just to, feel good overall, which is similar to what your opiate sensors do when you have opioids, right? But, if you like gummies, eat the gummies. If you like 5-hour energies or the convenience of a shot, try that. If you want to try the powder, you just got to start out small, and then, work on finding the dosage that works for you.
For me, yeah, for anybody. So guys, if you're interested, if you like Kratom or you're interested in trying it out, go to happyhippo.com/RVD2026 and use code RVD2026 for an added 15% off. The nice thing about Happy Hippo, checking out their website and everything like that, and interacting with the guys there, they're very proactive and customer friendly. So like, if you guys do have any questions about the product, or like are curious about like how certain things might work or different things like that, they're very proactive in responding and touching base with you. So I highly recommend to check that out. Go to happyhippo.com/RVD2026. Touch base with those guys. If you do have any questions, ask their customer team. They're awesome to work with, and we're excited to have them as a sponsor. So you'll be keeping tabs on this as we go every episode. So we're really happy to have them aboard on here. And props to Rob for facilitating all that and setting it up. So be sure to check out Happy Hippo, support them as they're supporting the show here. And then we also have another sponsor this week in Mando. You got to smell good in this New Year's. Yeah, they're a great product. I love Mando. I have a couple of the things here. We got the deodorant cream right here. They have plenty of other options though too, like the deodorant stick. I love the deodorant spray in case you're ever in a pinch. You fucking reek somewhere and you're like, I got to do something. Boom, spray yourself down, and you can do that with Mando. Some men mask their BO with scents. Mando Men gets the job done right. Don't mask it, Mando it. Available in retailers near you, or head to shopmando.com, because for a limited time, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use code RVD at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them that One of a Kind with RVD sent you. Mando's got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness. Cool. Also, Rob, wanted to give a shout out to JCW. You got in the news a little bit about that for giving them props, and they are a great product. It's a lot of fun. What Violent J and Vince Russo have been doing with that show, it's really cool and kind of a nostalgia fix, but also at the same time too, they're staying up with the modern times as well. So it's a fun kind of product they've been following along, Rob. So
yeah, I enjoyed reading a lot of the comments from that post. I don't know if it was at one of the social media sites I saw that I said that they were going to have a good year or whatever the fuck. And it was cool reading all the positive shit of the fans that were happy with what's going on. And a lot of them were like, I got to admit, I've been watching it, man. It's pretty fun. And it was just cool seeing a lot of that because Joe's been working on that forever. You know what I mean? Like that's like the new USWA, like the oldest surviving territory or something.
It is.
It's up there.
It is up there. Yeah, guys, I recommend it. Just checking it out. Like Violent J and Vince said, too, when they were on our show. Just give it 2 episodes. Give 2 episodes a shot. See what you think about it. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, then move on. But so far, they've been doing great. They get over like 40,000 views on an episode, which has been great. Big boost up. And yeah, hats off to Violent J and Vince for the work they're putting in on there. And they got to pivot a little bit because Matt Cardona is back in WWE and he's the JCW champion. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that. Yeah. Seth, thanks for the $20, Seth. He's the guy that does our theme song, if you weren't aware. So shout out to Seth. Be sure to support him. That's A Little Higher is the name of the song. So you can check that out on Spotify too. So support Seth. He says, Happy New Year's and congrats on everything. Rob Van Dad. Hey to Katie and Dom too. Thank you, Seth.
Appreciate it, Super Seth. And must have told you that my favorite strain was Tangy somewhere along the line because that was a present that I received from him, and it was awesome. It reminded me of why I used to like smoking it. It tastes so good, smells so good. Even the air smells good afterwards. Now, the original Tangy's not there anymore, but there's derivatives of it, Ancestry, you know how that works. So
yeah,
I think this is Tangy tea or some shit like that. But anyway, appreciate that. I don't know. Like it came from mother-in-law handed it to me, Katie's mom. You know, I was like, where? She gave me an envelope, and someone told me to give this to you. I'm like, where? Okay, you know, don't even know how it got to her, but somehow. But we've had so many packages and everything, like we talked about before. You know, like thank you to everybody.
Well, Seth said you said it on the podcast. Be Real was smoking it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's true. First time I had Tangy, it's like it smells like someone sprayed air freshener in the room after you smoke it. It's magic, but it's extinct. As far as I know, it's extinct. Although it did die for like 12 years and then mysteriously come back one time. So maybe it'll do it again, but I don't know. But they clone it, you know, the way, like I said, that one was good. The Tangy tea or tree or whatever the fuck it was, tribalism.
Rob, you're working on your own weed here coming up too. Right?
I'll have news. Yep, I'll have news on that soon.
Nice.
I keep it at that right now. I'm up. We can wrap this up pretty soon because I gotta pee, dude.
Ooh, let's do it. Okay,
RVD.
Gotta pee. All right, we'll close it with this super chat from Maddie. He said, "What's your thoughts on JR and Devon issue? Did you happen to see that, Rob?"
Yeah, I have. I don't think there's an issue. Well, I don't know. It's a misunderstanding. But then Devon, I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not a misunderstanding because Devon seems to hold it against JR and think that JR is racist, and that's from a firsthand experience that he had. So maybe, I mean, I think most people that are older than me are racist. We've talked about this before, how, 2 years before I was born, basically, was when civil rights got voted through and segregation was ended. Like, it was still normal for people to treat black people. I don't know if it was all minorities, really. I'm interested in knowing about that now that I think about it. But we always think about black people, and that's what the issue is here. But I think people that are older than me, the government was still telling them that that's how you're supposed to, and most people do whatever the government says. Look at all the people that demonized marijuana, but now that the government says, okay, no, now it's okay after burying everybody for 50 years. Now it's okay. All those people that are demonized are like, oh, all right, well, you know what? The gummies help me sleep at night. And okay, but I'm just saying, people that were around in the 60s and actually active and were used to that, I think a lot of them have racist values. They either reprogram themselves, or if they're like old people, a lot of old people seem to be stuck in their ways, especially if they live in certain parts of the country where that's the norm. The South, that is the norm in the South, and it's generalizing a little bit, but they still have problems like in Mississippi, and man, they have been horrible to black people in the 60s. Oh my God, dude, that's a whole subject that I can't just, touch upon without saying, if you don't know about all the hangings and murders and for fun, and the Ku Klux Klan and all that shit. Anyway, I'm just saying, I know a lot of people that do good things, that function in society like normal people, but deep inside, if they're good old boys, I think there's a chance that they're going to be at minimum biased for their own kind at minimum. But anyway, I don't know. I haven't seen anything to base it on. I don't think Devon's lying. I don't think any more or less of either one of them.
Yeah, right. It's been a topic going back and forth. They've had it on each of their respective YouTube channels and stuff where both. Right. So we'll see how it pans out. JR mentioned how he's open to meet up with Devon, not address something just to make views or anything like that, but talk about it in private too. So we'll see how it all develops. So yeah, hopefully the meeting of the minds come together. But RVD's got a pee, so let's end this out. And yes, you're welcome. So guys, tune in anytime here. We'll fire it up. Do you like doing Mondays? We can do Mondays, or we can plan to do Trash Night again if you want, Rob. Up to you. So we can work it out.
All right, well, we can talk about that and all other things. Appreciate you, Van Dam fam. Thanks again to Ray. And remember, one of the strongest foundations of RVDology is to accept that we all have different values. As Ray put it, we can agree to disagree.
Yep.
Don't have to, and protesting is our First Amendment right. That's how we make changes. It's cool to be passionate and feel like you're doing your part in that way. But there's lines, between peaceful and violent, and both sides of this battle that we talked about are seemingly being a bit aggressive.
Yes.
Not that it's not, the ICE thugs more than the citizens, but I'm just saying, even like, some of the stuff that they're doing, if they're like physically getting in their way and standing in their, and even when they're walking, causing confrontations, it's like, but within certain lines, you should be able to protest in a way that they're not really able to right now because the rules don't matter as much. And I have a feeling these guys aren't going to be held accountable for crossing the line because, as Ray put it, this could be seen as exigent circumstances. And if Donald looks at the whole thing like that, then there you go. All done by policy.
That's it, Rob. It's going to be a wait and see thing. But yeah, concerning times. But yeah, everybody kind of just be understanding of one another as much as you can and move along to get along and be considerate of everybody. So cool.
I'm going to go visit the babies. Appreciate you, everybody. Thanks for all the congrats on the babies. We live in open books, so, we'll keep you posted.
No doubt. Hey, Dan, Daz wants to end it on a double thumb, Rob. So let's do it to it. We'll see you guys next time.
The whole effing bro.
Yeah, with Rob and Dan.